everybody. Thank you for coming to another performance of Arms of a Man. You're doing all right tonight, I hope. A few things before we get started tonight. That this show will have an intermission between the second and the third act. It's in your program. The other thing I'd like to mention is that during the first act, there's some very loud prop guns that are used, and during that time, you want to avoid this area right here. After all that happens, you'll feel free. If you have to leave, you can do that. There's an emergency exit back there, should there be an emergency, and of course the door will be the way that you came into. If you'd please turn off your phones and pagers and all those other things that might go off during the performance, that would be nice and pleasant. Thank you for coming to this first, this isn't the first performance, but this is the first time we're doing a spring play, and I hope you enjoy Arms and the Man.
Raina! Heavens, child! Are you out the night air instead of in your bed? Louka told me you were asleep.
I sent her away. I wanted to be alone. The stars are so beautiful. What is the matter?
Such news, there's been a battle. A great battle at Beall, and it was won by Sergius.
Oh, Mother! Is Father safe?
Oh, of course. He sent me the news. Sergius is the hero of the hour, the idol of the regiment.
Tell me, how was it? Oh, Mother, Mother, Mother!
You can't guess how splendid it is. A cavalry charge. Think of that. He defied our Russian commanders, acted without orders, led a charge on his own responsibility, was the first man to sweep through their guns. Can't you see it, Raina? Our gallant, splendid Bulgarians with their swords and eyes flashing, thundering down like an avalanche, and scattering the wretched Serbs and their dandified Austrian officers like chaff. And you kept Sergius waiting a whole year before you'd be betrothed to him. Oh, if you have a drop of Bulgarian blood in your veins, you'll worship him when he returns.
What will he care for my poor little worship after the acclamation of a whole army of heroes? But nevertheless, I'm so happy, so proud. It proves that all our ideas were real after all.
Our ideas real? What do you mean?
Our ideas of what Sergius would do. Our patriotism, our heroic ideas. I sometimes used to wonder if they were anything but dreams. Oh, what faithless little creatures girls are. When I buckled on Sergius' sword, he looked so noble. It was treason to think of disillusion, or humiliation, or failure. And yet, promise me that you'll never tell him.
Don't ask me for promises until I know what I'm promising.
Well, it came into my head just as he was holding me in his arms and looking into my eyes, and I thought, maybe we only had our heroic ideas. Because I was so fond of reading Byron and Pushkin, and because I was so delighted with the opera that season at Bucharest. Oh, real life is so seldom like that. Oh, to believe that it's glory, and then to act its romance. What happiness, what unspeakable fulfillment.
If you please, madams, all the windows are to be closed and the shutters made fast. They say their masters are being chased right through the passageway into our town, and the cavalry are after them, and you be sure our people will be ready for them.
I must see that everything is made safe downstairs.
I wish that our people were not so cruel. What glory is there in killing
They would hesitate to kill you, or worse.
Leave the shutters so that I can just close them if I hear any noise.
Oh no, dear. You would be sure to drop off to sleep and leave them open. Make them fast.
Don't be anxious about me. The moment I hear a shot, I shall blow out my candles and roll myself up in my bed with my ears well covered.
Quite a wise thing you can do, my love. Good night.
Oh, wish me joy. This is the happiest night of my life. As long as there are no fugitives.
Go to bed, dear. And don't leave.
If you want to keep the shutters open, come and just give them a push like this. One of those bolts are gone at the top. Should have been fixed a long time ago.
Thank you, Louka, but we must do as we are told. Good night.
Well, good night.
Oh. Will I never be unworthy of my soul's hero? Never, never, never. My hero, my hero.
Shut! Be good and no harm will happen to you. Take care. Don't you try to run away. Remember, if you raise your voice, my revolver will go off. Now strike a light and let me see you. Do you hear? Recognize my uniform? Sir, and if I'm caught, I shall be killed. Do you understand that?
Yes?
Well, I don't intend on getting killed if I get out of trouble. Do you understand that?
Yes, but some soldiers I know aren't afraid to die.
All of them, dear lady, all of them. Believe me, it is our duty to live as long as we can. Now, if you raise your voice...
You will shoot me. But how do you know that I'm afraid to die?
True. Suppose I don't shoot you. What will happen then? Bloody your cavalry will burst into this pretty little room of yours and slaughter me here like a pig. Or I'll fight like a demon. They shan't get me to the street to amuse themselves with. I know what they are. Are you prepared to receive that sort of company in your present undress? Highly presentable, huh? Stop! Where are you going?
Only to get my cloak.
Good idea. I'll keep the cloak. And you'll take care that no one comes and sees you without it. It's a better weapon than a revolver, huh?
It is not the weapon of a gentleman.
It's good enough for a man with all you to stand between him and death.
Open the door! Open the door! Wait, open the door!
Do you hear? If you bring those blackguards in on me, you shall receive them as you
Hey,
are.
Petkoff's house! Can't go in here! Open the door!
What does this mean, sir? Do you know where you are?
My lady, open the door, quick, you don't know, break it down.
Oh, it's no use. Quick, wrap yourself up. They're coming.
Thank you.
Don't mention it.
But what will you do?
Well, the first one you will see. Keep out of the way and don't look. It won't last long, but it will not be pretty.
I'll help you. I'll save you.
You can't.
I can. I'll hide you. Here. Behind the curtain.
There's just half a chance this will work if you keep your head. Shh. Remember,
Yes?
9 out of 10 soldiers are born fools. If they find me, I promise you a fight, a devil of a fight.
Let those beasts of a servant call climbing up your mother's height. Our men will have searched for them, and they're angry and drunk.
I heard the shooting. Surely they will not search here.
Raina, darling, are you safe? Have you heard anything or seen anyone?
Oh, I heard the shooting. Oh, Mama, they surely won't search here.
I found a Russian officer, thank heavens. He knows Sergius. Sir, will you come in now? My daughter will receive you.
Good evening, gracious ladies. Pardon the intrusion, but we believe that there's a Serb hiding on your balcony. Will you, the gracious ladies, please withdraw, whilst we search?
Nonsense, sir. You can see that there is nobody on the balcony.
There he is. I see him. Cease fire down there, you fools! You hear? Cease fire!
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Could anyone have gotten in without your knowledge, maybe while you were asleep?
No, sir, I have not been to bed.
Your neighbors have their heads so full of runaway servants that they see them everywhere. Oh, gracious lady, 1,000 pardons. Good night.
Louka, would you please stay with my mother until the...
Oh, a narrow shave. Oh, but a miss is as good as a mile. Dear young lady, you served it to the death. I wish for your sake I'd joined the Bulgarian army instead of the other one. I am not a native Serb.
No, you are an Austrian who sent the Serbs out to rob us of our national liberty and to officer their army for them. We hate them.
Austrian, no. Not I. Don't hate me, dear young lady. I'm Swiss. We're fighting merely as a professional soldier. I only joined the Serbs because they're the first ones that came down to Switzerland. Be generous. You've beaten us hollow.
Have I not been generous?
Well, no, heroic. But I'm not saved yet. This particular rush will soon pass through, but the pursuit will go all night by fits and starts. I must take my chance to get off at a quiet interval. You don't mind my waiting a minute or two, do you?
Not at all.
Thank you. Oh, don't frighten me like that. Oh, what is it?
Your revolver! It was staring the officer in the face all the time. What an escape.
Is that all?
I'm sorry that I frightened you. Pray, take it to protect yourself against me.
Oh, it's no use, dear lady. There's nothing in it. It's not loaded.
Load it by all means.
I have no ammunition. What good are cartridges in battle? I carry chocolate instead. Oh, I finished the last cake hours ago.
Do you stuff your pockets with sweets like a schoolboy, even in the fields?
Well, yes. Isn't he contemptible? Oh, I wish I had some right now.
Well, allow me. I'm sorry, I've eaten all of them except for these.
Oh, you're an angel. Oh, creams. Oh, delicious. Oh. Oh, bless you, dear young lady. You can always tell a soldier by what he carries in his holsters and cartridge boxes. The young ones carry pistols and ammunition. The old ones, grub. Thanks. Don't do things so suddenly, gracious lady. It's mean to revenge yourself because I frightened you just now.
Frightened me? Do you know, sir, that though I am only a woman, I think at heart I'm as brave as you.
Well, I should think so. You haven't been on it for 5 for 3 days straight as I have. I can stand 2 days without showing you much, but no man can stand 3 days. I'm as frightened as a mouse. Do you want to see me cry?
No?
Because all you have to do is stare at me if I were a schoolboy and you my nurse. If I were at camp, they'd play all sorts of tricks on me.
Oh, well, you must excuse me. Ah, soldiers are not like that.
Oh, yes, they are. There's only two types of soldiers, old ones and young ones. I've served 14 years. Half of your fellows haven't even smelled powder before. Why? How has your dad beaten us? Sheer ignorance of the art of war, no doubt. I never saw anything so unprofessional in my life.
Oh, was it unprofessional to beat you?
Well, come now. Was a professional sent a regiment of cavalry on a battery of machine guns, with the dead certainty that the machine guns go off, not a man or horse that would get within 50 yards of fire? I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw it.
You saw the great cavalry charge. Tell me about it. Describe it to me.
You haven't seen a cavalry charge before, have you?
How could I?
No, of course not. Of course not. Well, it's a funny sight, really. It's like slinging a handful of peas against a window pane. The first one comes, and two or three close behind, and all the rest in a lump. It's really a funny sight.
Oh yes, the first one. The bravest of the brave.
You should have seen the poor devil pulling at his horse.
Why should he pull at his horse?
Well, because it's running away from him, of course. Do you think it wants to get there before the others and be killed? Then they all come. You can always tell the young ones by their wildness and their slashing. The old ones come up under the #1 guard. They know they're just mere projectiles and there's no use trying to fight. The wounds are mostly broken knees from the horses canoning together.
Well, I don't believe the first man is a coward. I know that he is a hero.
That's what you have said you've seen the first man that charged today.
So you did see him. Now tell me about him.
Well, he did it like an operatic tenor. Regular handsome fellow with flashing eyes and a lovely mustache. Making his war cry and charging like Don Quixotes at the windmills. We did laugh.
You dared to laugh?
Well, yes. But when our sergeant ran up to us as white as a sheet and told us that they sent us the wrong ammunition and that we wouldn't be able to fire in the next 10 minutes, well, we laughed at the other side of our mouths. So frightened in my life, although I've been in one or two very tight places before. And I haven't even a revolver cartridge, only chocolate. We know bayonets, nothing. Of course, they just cut us to bits. And there was Don Quixote, flourishing like a drum major, thinking he'd done the cleverest thing. Whereas he ought to be court-martialed for it. Of all the fools ever let loose on the field of battle, that man was the very maddest. He and his regiment simply committed suicide. Only the pistol missed fire, that's all.
Would you know him again if you saw him?
Shall I ever forget him?
That is a picture of the gentleman, the patriot and hero, to whom I am betrothed.
Oh, I'm really very sorry. Was it fair to leave me on like that? Yes, that's Don Quixote, all right. No doubt about it.
Give me back the portraits.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh. I didn't, I really assure you, but when I see him making the war cry and charging at the windmills, thinking doing the cleverest thing, I'm sorry. Perhaps I'm wrong. No doubt I am. Perhaps he got wind of the cartridge business somehow and knew it was a safe job.
That is to say that he is a pretender and a coward. You did not dare say that before.
It's no use, dear young lady. I can't make you see it from a professional point of view.
So much the better of you.
Well, how so?
What would I do if I were a professional soldier?
True. Well, I know how good you've been to me in my last hour. I shall never forget those 3 chocolate creams. It wasn't soldierly, but it was angelic.
Thank you. But now I must do a soldierly thing. You cannot stay here after what you've just said about my future husband. But I will go out on the balcony and see whether it is safe for you to climb down into the street.
Devil, what have I done? I can't. I daren't. The very thought of it makes me giddy. I came up and fast enough with death behind me, but to face it now in cold blood? No. No. I give up. I surrender. Sound the alarm.
You are a very poor soldier. A chocolate cream soldier. Come, don't be disheartened. It takes less courage to climb down than to face capture. Remember that.
No. Capture means death. Oh, death is sleep. Oh, sleep. Sleep, sleep. Climbing down the pipe means doing something, exerting myself, thinking. Oh, death 10 times over first.
Are you as sleepy as that?
I've not had 2 hours of undisturbed sleep since I joined. I haven't closed my eyes for 48 hours.
But what am I to do with you?
True. Something must be done. See, sleep or no sleep. Hunger or no hunger. Tired or not tired. You can always do a thing when it has to be done. Well, that water pipe must be shut down. You hear that, you chocolate cream soldier?
Oh, but if you fall,
I shall hit the stones if there were a feather bed. Goodbye.
we'll see you.
I'm bound to take my chance. Well, it's all in a day's work. Now, do as I tell you. Blow out the lights so they shan't see the light when I open the windows. And keep out of the way. If they see me, they're sure to have a shot at me.
They're sure to see you. It's bright moonlight out. Oh, how can you be so indifferent? You want me to save you, don't you?
I really don't want to be troublesome. I am not indifferent, I assure you, but how is it to be done?
Come away from the window, sir. Now you must trust to our hospitality. You do not yet know in whose house you preside. I'm a Petkoff.
A pet what?
I mean to say that I belong to the family of the Petkoffs, the richest and best known in our country.
Oh, the Petkoffs, to be sure. How stupid of me, I should have known.
You know that you have not heard of them until now. How can you stoop to pretend?
Don't be angry with me, dear young lady. The change of subject was too much. Please don't scold me.
I won't scold you. I forgot. It might make you cry. Well, I must tell you that my father holds the highest position of any Bulgarian in our army. He is a major.
Oh, a major. Bless me, think of that.
Showed great ignorance in thinking that it was necessary to climb up my balcony, because ours is the only house with 2 rows of windows. We have a flight of stairs inside to get up and down by.
Oh, stairs. How grand. You live in great luxury, dear young lady.
Have you ever seen a library?
A library, a room full of books.
Yes, we are the only one in Bulgaria.
A library. Well, really, I should like to see that.
Again, you show great ignorance in thinking that you were among the house of ignorant countryfolk that would kill you the moment they saw your Serbian uniform. But you are among civilized people. Oh, we go to the Bookers, Vienna.
Oh, I saw that, dear young lady. I saw it once as you knew the world.
Have you ever seen the...
Is that the one with the devil in the red dress and the soldier's chorus?
Oh.
And I have not seen it.
Well, I thought you might have remembered the great sea where Ernani, flying from his foes, just as you are tonight, takes refuge in the castle of an old Castilian noble. The noble refuses to give him up. His guest is sacred to him.
Have your people got that notion?
My mother and I can understand that notion, as you call it, and if tonight you would have thrown yourself as a fugitive upon our hospitality, you would have been as safe as in your own father's home.
Quite sure.
It's useless to try to make you understand.
Don't be angry with me, dear young lady. Do you see how awkward it would be for me if there was any mistake? My father is a very hospitable man. He keeps 6 hotels, but I couldn't trust him as far as that. What about your father?
My father knows ways to Lubitsa, fighting for his country. I answer for your safety. Well, here is my hand in pledge of it. Will that reassure you?
Better not touch my hand, dear young lady. I must have a wash first.
Oh, I see that you are a gentleman.
Yeah?
You must not think that I am surprised. Bulgarians of high standing, people in our position, wash their hands nearly every day. So you can see that I understand your delicacy. You may take my hand.
Thank you, dear young lady. I feel safe at last. Now, if you wouldn't mind breaking the news to your mother, I don't want to stay here secretly longer than is necessary.
Well, if you'd be so good to keep perfectly still, we'll start away.
Certainly.
You're not falling asleep, are you? You're falling asleep.
Falling asleep? No. No, not the least in the world. I was only thinking.
Now, if you would please stand all the time, mind.
Certainly, certainly. You may depend on me. Sleep. Sleep. Where am I? That's what I want to know. Where am I? Nothing keeps me awake except danger. Must find danger. 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 Where's danger? Must find danger. Oh, what am I looking for? Oh, sleep. Danger. I don't know. Ah, now I know. I'm to go to bed, but not sleep. Oh, be sure not to sleep. Yes, yes, sit. But be sure not to sleep.
I left him here.
Well, then he must have come down from the...
Oh. Well,
He's fast asleep, the brute.
sir. Sir.
Sir,
Sleep.
poor darling. Raina.
In time, Louka. Mend your manners. I know the mistress. She is so grand that she never dreams that any servant can dare be disrespectful to her. But if she once suspects you defy her, out you go.
I do defy her. I will defy her. What do I care for her?
You quarrel with the family and never can marry you. It's the same as if you quarreled with me.
You take a part against me, do you?
I shall always be dependent upon the goodwill of the family. When I leave their service and start a shop in Solo, the custom will be half my capital. Your bad word would ruin me.
You have no spirit. I should like to catch them saying a word against me.
I should have expected more sense from you, Louka. But you're young. You're young.
Oh, yes. And you like me better for it, don't you? But I know some family secrets they wouldn't have dared to tell me as young as I am. So let them quarrel with me if they dare.
Do you know what they'd do if they heard you talk like that?
What could they do?
Discharge you for untruthfulness. Who would believe any stories you told after that? Who would give you a position? Who in this house would dare see speaking to you ever again? How long would your father let the little farm? Child, you don't know the power such high people have over the likes of you and me when they try to us out of our poverty against them. Look at me. 10 years in their service. Do you think I know no secrets? I know things about the mistress she wouldn't have the master know for 1,000 others. I think she would want him to know that he may last them for months if I bound him to her. I know things about Raina that bring off a match with Sergius if...
Oh no! How do you know? I never told you.
So that's your little secret, is it? I thought it might be something like that. Just you take my advice and be respectful. Make the mistress feel that no matter what you know or don't know, she can depend on you to hold your tongue and serve the family faithfully. That's what they like, and that's how you make the most out of it.
You have the soul of a servant, Nicola.
Yes, that's the secret to success in service.
Hello! Hello there! Nicola!
Oh, it's back from the war.
My word for it, Louka. Up, you can get some fresh coffee.
Breakfast out here, eh?
Yes, sir. Mistress and Miss Raina have just gone in.
Go in and say I've come. And bring fresh coffee.
It's coming, sir.
Well, well, my dear. The Serbs haven't run away with you now, have they?
Oh, no, sir.
Have you brought me my fresh coffee?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. And have you brought me my cognac?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. That's what I like. Yes, Louka's been looking after me. The war is over. The treaty was signed 3 days ago at Bucharest, and the decree for our army to demobilize was issued yesterday.
Paul, have you let the Austrians force you to make peace?
My dear, they didn't consult me. What could I do? But of course we saw to it that the treaty was an honorable one. It declares peace,
Peace?
but not friendly relations. They wanted to put that in, but I insisted on it being struck out. What more could I do?
You could have annexed Serbia and made Prince Alexander Emperor of the Balkans. That's what I would have done.
I don't doubt that, in the very least, my dear. But I should have had to subdue the whole Austrian Empire first. That would have kept me too long away from you. I missed you greatly. How have you been, my dear?
Oh, my usual sore throats, that's all.
That comes from washing your neck. I've often told you so.
Nonsense, Paul.
I don't believe in going too far with these modern customs. All this washing can't be good for the health. It's not natural. There was an Englishman at Philippopolis who used to wet himself all over with cold water every morning when he got up. Disgusting. It all comes from the English. Their climate makes them so dirty they must be perpetually washing themselves. But look at my father. He lived to be 98 years old, the healthiest man in all of Bulgaria, and he never had a bath in his life. Now, I don't mind a good wash once a week to keep up my position, but once a day is simply carrying the thing to a ridiculous extreme.
You are a barbarian at heart still, Paul. I hope you behaved yourself before all those Russian officers.
I did my best. I took care to let them know that we have a library.
Ah, but you didn't tell them that we have an electric bell in it. I've had one put up.
What's an electric bell?
You touch a button, something tinkles in the kitchen, and then Nicola comes up.
Why not shout for him?
Civilized people never shout for their servants. I've learned that while you were away.
Well, I'll tell you something I've learned while I was away. Civilized people don't hang their washing to dry where visitors can see them. So you'd better have all that put somewhere else.
Oh, that's nonsense, Paul. I don't believe really refined people notice such things.
Hey, Nicola.
They're surgeons. Nicola!
Oh, don't shout, Paul. It really isn't nice.
Bosh! Nicola!
Sir.
Are you deaf? Don't you hear Major Saranov knocking? Bring him round this way.
Yes, Major.
You must talk to him, my dear, until Raina takes him off our hands. He bores my life out about our not promoting him. Over my head, if you please.
Well, he certainly ought to be promoted after he marries Raina. Besides, the country should insist on having at least one native general.
Yes, so that he can throw away whole brigades instead of regiments. It's
It's no use, my dear. He hasn't the slightest chance of promotion until we're shown that the peace will be lasting.
Major Sergius, sir.
Here already, Sergius? Glad to see you.
My dear Sergius.
My dear mother, if I may call you, sir.
Sit down. Have some coffee.
Thank you. None for me.
The campaign has improved you, Sergius. Everyone here is mad about you. We were all wild with enthusiasm about hearing that magnificent cavalry charge.
Madame, it was the cradle and the grave of my military reputation.
How so?
Well, I won the battle the wrong way, while our worthy Russian generals were losing it the right way. In short, I upset their plans and wounded their self-esteem. 2 Cossack colonels had the regiments routed on the most correct principles of scientific warfare. 2 major generals got killed, strictly according to military etiquette. The 2 colonels are now major generals, and I am a simple major.
Well, you shall not remain so, Sergius. The women are on your side, and we will see that justice is done you.
It is too late. I have only waited until the peace to send in my resignation.
Your resignation?
You must withdraw it.
I never withdraw.
Now, who could have supposed that you would do such a thing?
Everyone that knew me. But enough of myself and my affairs. How is Raina? And where is Raina?
Raina is here.
Pretty, isn't it? She always appears at the right moment.
Yes, she listens for it. It is an abominable habit.
Dear father, welcome home.
My little pet girl.
So you're no longer a soldier, Sergius?
I am no longer a soldier. Soldiering, my dear madame, is the coward's art of attacking mercilessly when you are strong and keeping out of harm's way when you are weak. But that is the whole secret to successful fighting. Get your enemy at a disadvantage and never, on any account, fight them on equal terms.
Exactly. They wouldn't let us make a fair stand-up fight of it. However, I suppose soldiering must be a trade like any other trade.
Precisely. But I have no ambition to shine as a tradesman. So I've taken the advice of that bagman of a captain who settled a prison exchange with us at Peru and given it up.
What? That Swiss fellow? Sergius, I've often thought of that exchange since. He overreached us about those horses.
Of course he overreached us, Major. His father was a hotel stable and livery keeper. He owed his first step to his knowledge of horse dealing. He was a soldier. Every inch a soldier. Oh, if I'd only bought those horses for my regiment, Marcia by now.
Huh.
A Swiss? What was he doing in the Serbian army?
A volunteer, of course. Keen on picking up his profession. We shouldn't have been able to begin fighting this war if these foreigners hadn't shown us how to do it. We knew nothing of it, and neither did the Serbs. Egad, there'd been one war without them.
Well, are there many Swiss officers in the Serbian army?
No, all Austrians just as ours are the Russians. This was the only Swiss I came across, but I tell you, I shall never trust a Swiss again. He humbugged us into giving him 50 able-bodied men for 200 worn-out chargers.
Worn out, they weren't even eatable.
We were simply 2 innocent children in the hands of that confident soldier. Simply 2 innocent little children.
Well, what was he like?
Oh, Raina, what a silly question.
He was like a commercial traveler in uniform. Bourgeois to his boots.
Sergius, tell Catherine that queer story his friend told us about when he escaped from Srebrenica. You remember, about his being hit by 2 women.
Oh, yes. Quite a romance. He was in a very battery, so a professionally charged. Making a throw soldier, he ran away like the rest of them with all cavalry at his heels. To escape our sailor, he climbed the water pipe and made his way into the bedroom of a young Bulgarian lady. Oh, the lady was enchanted by his persuasive traveling manners. She very modestly entertained him for an hour or so, and invited her mother in, lest her conduct should appear unmaidenly. Oh, the old lady was equally fascinated by the fugitive. And the fugitive was sent on his way in the morning, disguised in an old coat belonging to the master of the house, Who's away at the wall?
Oh, your life in the camp has made you coarse, Sergius. I did not think that you would have repeated such a story before me.
She is right, Sergius. If such women exist, we should be seized the knowledge of them.
Pooh! Nonsense.
Oh, what does behave abominably? Forgive me, Raina, and you too, madame. The glimpses I have had of the steamy side of life these past few months have made me cynical. And I should not have brought my cynicism here, least of all in your presence. Raina,
Stop your nonsense, Sergius. There's enough fuss about nothing. A soldier's daughter ought to be able to stand up to a little strong conversation without flinching. However, it's time for us to get to business. We must determine how those 3 regiments ought to get back to for the populace. There's no forage for them on the Sophia route. Come along.
Oh, Paul, can't you spare Sergius for just a few moments? He has hardly seen Raina yet. Perhaps I can help you settle the regiments.
my dear madame, impossible.
You stay here, Sergius. I have a word or 2 to say to Paul. Now, Paul, come and see the electric bell.
Very well, my dear. Very well.
Am I forgiven?
My hero, my king.
My queen.
Oh, how I've envied you, Sergius. You've been out in the world, able to prove yourself there worthy of any woman. Who'll strive to sit at home, inactive, dreaming, useless, unable to call myself worthy of any man.
Dearest, all my needs have been for you. You've inspired me. I have gone to the wall like a knight in a tournament, with this lady looking down on him.
Oh, and you have never been absent from my thoughts for a moment. Oh, Sergius, I think that we two have found the higher love. Oh, when I think of you, I can never do a base deed or think in a noble thought.
My lady and my saint.
My lord and my...
Let me be the worshipper, dear. You know how little worthy even the best man is of a girl's pure passion.
I trust you. I love you. Oh, you will never be unworthy of my thoughts. You cannot pretend to talk indifferently before her. I will go get my hat, and then we can go out for a walk until lunch. You'd like that, wouldn't you?
Be quick. If you're away for 5 minutes, it will seem like 5 hours. Louka, do you know what the higher love is?
No, sir.
It's a very fatiguing thing to keep up for any amount of time. One feels the need for some relief.
Well, perhaps you would like some coffee then, sir.
Thank you.
Oh, sir, you know I didn't mean that. I'm surprised at you.
I'm surprised at myself, Louka. Well, it's Sergius, the hero of Slavincia, say if you saw me now. Well, it's Sergius, the apostle of the higher love, say if you saw me now. Oh, half a dozen Sergiuses keep popping in and out as hunts of beauty mine. Say if he caught us here.
Oh, sir, I shall be disgraced. Will you let me go? Let me go. Then, stand back, what can't be seen. Have you no common sense?
That is reasonable.
Miss Raina is sure to respond.
Well, I may be worthless enough to betray the higher love, but do you not insult it?
No, not for the world, sir, I'm sure. May I go back to my work now, please?
You were in love with me when you spy out the windows at me.
Well, you see, sir, since you claim you're half a dozen men, I have a great deal to look after.
Witty as well as pretty.
You gentlefolk are all alike. you making love to me behind Miss Raina's back, and she's doing the same behind yours.
Louka,
Well, it shows how little you really care.
if our conversation is to continue, Louka, you will do well to remember that a gentleman does not discuss the conduct of the lady he is engaged to with her maid.
Well, it's hard to consider what a gentleman feels right. After all, from you trying to kiss me, I thought you'd given up being so particular.
Oh, devil.
I expect the 1 in 6 of you, sir, is like me, although I'm only Miss Raina's maid.
Which of the 6 is the real man? This question informs me. One of them is a hero, another a buffoon, another a humbug, and one, perhaps a bit of a blackguard. And one, at least, is a coward, just like all cowards. Louka, who is my rival?
Well, you won't get that out of me, sir, for love or for money.
Why?
Never mind why. Besides, if I told you, you would say I told you and I would lose my place.
No, on the honor of a man capable of behaving as I have for the past 5 minutes. Who is he?
I don't know who he is. I only heard him outside Miss Raina's door.
Damnation, how dare you?
Well, sir, you have no right to take up my words like that, sure. The mistress knows all about him, and if he ever comes back, Miss Raina is sure to marry him.
Now, you listen to me.
So do not.
That doesn't matter. You have stained my honor and made me a party to your eavesdropping. You have betrayed your mistress. That shows you are an abominable little claw of common clay with the soul of a servant.
Oh. Well, you know how to hunt with your hands as well as your tongue. But I know one thing. Miss Raina's a liar, and her fine airs are a cheat. And I don't want 6 of her.
Louka, a gentleman has no right to hurt a lady under any circumstances. I beg your pardon.
That sort of an apology may work for a lady, but what use is it to a maid?
So you wish to be paid for your hurts?
No. I want my hurt made well.
How? Never.
Have you been flirting with Louka?
No! No! How could you even think of such a thing?
I'm sorry, it was only a jest. I'm just so happy today.
I'm sorry to disturb you, children, but Paul is distracted over those 3 regiments. He doesn't know how to send them to Philippopolis, and you jest, and a suggestion of mine. You must go and help him, Sergius. He's in the library.
But we had just going out for a walk.
I shall not be long. Wait for me for just 5 minutes.
Oh, I will wait in full view of the library windows. Be sure to draw father's attention to me. And if you are anything longer than that, I shall come in. Regiments or no regiments.
Very well.
Imagine them meeting that Swiss and hearing the whole story. The very first thing your father asked for was that old coat you sit him off in. What a fine mess you got us into.
Oh, the little beast!
Little beast? What little beast?
Oh, if I had him here, I would cram him with chocolate creams till he could never speak again.
Oh, don't talk such stuff. Tell me the truth, Raina. How long was he in your room before you came and got me?
I forgot.
You cannot forget. Was he there when the officer searched the room, or did he climb up before?
No. Oh, yes, guess he must have been there then.
Oh, Raina, you just find out will be all over between you.
I know Sergius is your little pet. Sometimes I wish that you could marry him instead of me. You would just suit him. You'd pet him, you'd spoil him, you'd mother him to perfection.
Oh, upon my word.
I always feel a longing to do such a thing, to say something to him, to shock him, to scandalize the 5 senses out of him. I don't care if he finds out about the chocolate cream soldier or not. I have hope he may.
And what should I be able to say to your father, pray?
Oh, poor father, as if he could take care of himself.
Oh, if you were only 10 years younger.
Well, there's a message for you, madam. A Serbian officer.
A Serb? And how dare he? Oh, I forgot. We're at peace now. I suppose we shall have them calling every day to pay their compliments. Well, if he's an officer, why don't you go and tell your master? He's in the library. Why do you come to me?
Because he asked for you, madam. I don't think he knows who you are, but he asked for the lady of the house, and he wanted me to give his little ticket to you.
Captain Bluntschli. That's a German name.
Swiss, madam, I think.
Swiss?
He's carrying a big carpet bag.
Oh, heavens! He's come to return the coat. Send him away. Tell him we're not at home. Ask him to leave his address and I'll write to him. No, wait. The master and Major Saranoff are in the library, aren't they?
Yes, madam.
Then bring the gentleman out here at once, and don't delay. Louka, is the library door shut?
I think so, madam.
Well, if not, shut it as you pass through. Stop! We'll have to go through that way. Tell Nicola to bring his bags here after him.
His bag?
Yes, here. Be quick. How could a man be such a fool? Such a moment to select.
Captain Bluntschli, madam.
Captain Bluntschli, it's so good to see you again, but you must leave this house at once. You see, my husband and my future son-in-law have just returned from the war, and they know nothing. You're a foreigner and do not understand our national animosities as we do. We still hate the Serbs, and the effect of the peace on my husband has made him to feel like a lion balked of his prey. If he discovers our secret, my daughter's life will hardly be safe, and he will never forgive me. Will you, like the gentleman and soldier that you are, please leave this house at once before he finds you here?
Well, at once, gracious lady. I only came to thank you for the coat you lent me. If you allow me to take out my bag and leave with your servant on the way out, I need detain you no further.
Oh, you must not think of going back that way. This is the shortest way out. Many thanks. Goodbye.
But my bag?
It shall be sent on. You will leave me your address.
Oh, well, sure. Allow me.
My dear, dear Captain Bluntschli. Those stupid people of mine thought I was out here instead of in the library. I saw you through the window. I was wondering why you didn't come in. Major Saranoff is with me. You remember him, don't you?
Welcome, our friendly enemy.
No longer the enemy, Captain. I hope you called us a friend and not about horses or prisoners.
Oh, quite as a friend, Paul. I was just asking Captain Bluntschli to stay for lunch, but he declares he must leave at once.
Impossible, Lynch. We need you here badly. We have these 3 regiments to send on to Philippopolis, and we don't know the least bit how to do it.
Philippopolis, the forage is the trouble, I suppose.
Yes, that's it. He sees the whole thing at once.
Yes, I think I can show you how to manage that.
Invaluable man. Come along.
The chocolate cream soldier.
Don't you see that we have a guest here? One of our new Serbian friends.
Oh, I made a beautiful ornament this morning for the ice pudding, and Nicola has just placed a pile of plates on it and spoiled it. I hope that you didn't think that you were the chocolate cream soldier, Captain Bluntschli.
I assure you I did. Your explanation was a relief.
And since when, pray, you take it to cooking?
Oh, while you were away, it's her latest fancy.
And has Nicola taken to drinking? He used to be careful enough. First he shows Captain Bluntschli out here when he knew very well I was in the library. Then he goes downstairs and breaks Raina. Lust. Are you mad, Nicola?
Sir,
What have you brought that for?
my lady's orders. Louka told me that.
My orders? Why should I order you to bring Captain Bluntschli's luggage out here? What are you thinking of, Nicola?
I beg your pardon, Captain, I'm sure. My fault, madam, I will overlook it.
Better go now and slam that bag on Raina's chocolate soldier. Now! Dig on you black-fingered donkey! I'll teach him time to settle. Excuse me, Captain Bluntschli. No, never mind. Let's have no more nonsense about going to Switzerland. You know very well you're not going back yet. Until you do, you'll stay with us.
Oh, do, Captain Bluntschli.
Now, Captain, if you're afraid, press it, and you'll stay.
Of course. I shall be only too delighted if Captain Bluntschli wishes to stay. He knows my wishes.
I am at Madam's orders.
That settles it.
Of course, if I must. I must.
Are you sure I can't help you in any way, Bluntschli?
Quite sure, thank you. Saranoff and I will manage it.
Yes, we'll manage it. He finds out what to do, draws up the orders on our side. Division of labor. Another one? Thank you. This hand is more accustomed to the soul than to the dead.
It's very good of you, Bluntschli. It is indeed, to let yourself be put upon in such a way. Now, are you sure I can't help you with anything?
You can stop interrupting, Paul.
Oh, quite right, my love, quite right. But you haven't been campaigning, Catherine. You don't know how good it is to sit here after a good meal with nothing to do but enjoy ourselves. However, there's only one thing I want that would make me truly comfortable.
What is that?
My old coat. I'm just not at home in this one. I feel as if I were on parade.
My dear Paul, how absurd you are about that old coat of yours. It must be in the blue closet where you left it.
My dear Catherine, I tell you I've looked there. Am I to believe my own eyes or not? What are you showing off that belt for? My dear, If you think the obstinacy of your sex can create my coat out of two of Raina's old dressing gowns, your waterproof, and my Macintosh, then you're mistaken. That's exactly what the closet contains at present.
Nicola, go to the blue closet and bring your master's old coat here, the brave one he wears in the house.
Yes, madam.
Captain,
Yes, Paul?
I bet you any housekeeping money, the coat isn't there.
Done, Paul.
Ha! Come now. Here's an opportunity for some sport. You will bet on it. Bluntschli, I'll give you 6 to 1.
it would be robbing you, Major. Madame is sure to be right.
Well said, Spitzer. Major, I'll bet you my best charger against an Arab mare for Raina that Nicola finds a coat in the blue closet.
Your best charger.
Oh, don't be foolish, Paul. An Arabian mare will cost you 50,000 levers.
Oh, really, Mother? If you're going to take the jewelry, I don't see why you should grudge me my Arab.
Where was it, Nicola?
Hanging in the blue closet, madam.
Well, I am.
Paul.
Age is beginning to tell me. I could have sworn it wasn't there. Getting hallucinations. Excuse me, Captain Marcia. Here, help me to change. Remember, Sergius, I didn't take that bet of yours. So since you've roused Raina's expectations, you'd better give her that Arab steed yourself. Hey, human. She's dreaming as usual.
Surely, she shall not be the loser.
So much the better for her. I shan't come off so cheaply, I expect. And now, I feel home at last.
And that's the last one.
What? Finished?
Finished.
Haven't you anything for me to sign?
Not necessary. His signature will do.
Well, I'd say we've done a thundering good day's work. Now, Bluntschli, are you sure I can use nothing more?
You better see the fellows that take these. Show them that I marked on the orders the time at which they should turn them in by. Tell if they stop to drink or tell stories. And if they're 5 minutes late, they shall have the skin taken off their backs.
Well, I'll say so. And if one of them is mad enough to spit in my face for insulting him, I'll apply his discharge and give him a pinch.
Just see that he talks to them properly, Major, will you?
Quite right, Captain Bluntschli. Quite right. Oh, by the by, Catherine, you may as well come too. They'll be far more afraid of you than me.
Well, I dare say I had better. You would only splutter at them.
What an army. They make cannons out of cherry trees, and the officers sent for their wives to keep discipline.
You look ever so much nicer than when we had last met. What have you done to yourself?
Washed. Brushed. A good night's sleep and breakfast, that's all.
Did you get back safely the next morning?
Quite. Thanks.
Were the rest of the soldiers mad at you for running away from Sergius's charge?
Not at all. They were glad. They just all run away themselves.
Well, it must have made a lovely story, all about me in my room.
Capital story. But I only told it to one of them. A particular friend.
On one whose discretion you absolutely rely.
Absolutely.
He told my father and Sergius the day that you two exchanged soldiers.
No. You don't mean that, do you?
I do indeed, but they do not know that it was in this house that you took refuge. If Sergius knew, he would challenge you to a duel and kill you.
Bless me. Don't tell me.
Please be serious, Captain Bluntschli. My relationship with Sergius is the one true noble thing in my life. I want no meanness, no smallness, no deceit. I hope that you can understand that.
You mean you wouldn't like him to find out about the story of the ice pudding was well, you know.
I lied, I know that, but I did it to save your life. That was the second time that I've ever uttered a falsehood in my life. Do you remember the first time?
No. Was I present?
Yes, and I told the officer that was searching for you, but you were not present.
True. I should have remembered. I'm very sorry.
A lie?
Don't let this worry you, dear young lady. I'm a soldier. Know what happens to a soldier so much that he comes to think nothing of it. For one is hearing people tell lies. The other is getting his life saved in all sorts of ways by all sorts of people.
And so he becomes a creature incapable of faith and of gratitude. Even animals are grateful. If you are incapable of gratitude, you are incapable of any noble sentiment. You were not surprised to hear me lie? It's probably something you thought I did of every hour of every day. That is how men think of women.
There's reason in everything. Well, you said you only told 2 lies in your whole life. Dear young lady, isn't that a rather short allowance? I'm quite a straightforward man myself, but it wouldn't last me all morning.
Do you know, sir, that you are insulting me?
I can't help it. When you strike that noble attitude and speak in that thrilling voice, I admire you. But I find it impossible to believe a single word you say.
Captain Bluntschli?
Yes,
Do you mean what you said just now? Do you know what you said just now?
I do. Young lady instinct and experience of the world.
Well, I've always gone on in such a way. I did it to my nurse when I was a small child. She believed in it. I do it for my parents. They believe in it. And I do it for Sergius. He believes in it.
Yes, he's a little nut man himself, isn't he?
Oh, you suppose so?
Well, you know him better than I do.
I guess it probably. Well, never mind. I guess now that you found me out, you despise me.
No, 1,000 times. It's part of your youth, part of your charm. Unlike the rest of them, your nurse, your parents, Sergius. I'm your infatuated admirer.
Really?
Hans Athas, really and true.
Well, what did you think of me giving you my portrait?
Your portrait? You never gave me your portrait.
Do you mean to say to me that you never got it?
No. When did you send it to me?
I did not send it to you. It was in the pocket of the coat.
Oh. Well, I never found it. Well, it must be there still.
There still for my father to find the moment he places his hand inside his pocket. But how could you be so stupid?
Well, I suppose it doesn't matter. It's only a photograph. I mean, how can you tell who it's intended for? Tell him he put it there himself.
That is so clever, isn't it? What shall I do?
Oh, I see. You wrote something on it. Oof, that was rash.
To have done such a thing for you who care no more except to laugh at me. Are you sure nobody's touched it?
Well, I can't be quite sure. You see, I couldn't carry it about me all the time. One can't carry much luggage on active service.
So what did you do with it?
Well, when I got through to Perot, I thought of putting it in the railway cloakroom. But that was the surest place to get looted in modern warfare. So, I pawned it.
Pawned it?
Now, I know it doesn't sound nice, but it was the much safest plan. I redeemed it the day before yesterday. Heaven only knows whether the pawnbroker cleared out the pockets or not.
Oh, you have a low shopkeeping mind. You think of things that would never come into the head of a gentleman.
That is the Swiss national character, dear young lady.
I wish that I had never met you.
Excuse me. The last postal delivery that reached me was 3 weeks ago. These are subsequent acclamations. A letter from home. Bad news.
Bad news.
Yes, my father's dead.
Sad.
Yes. I shall have to head home in an hour. He has left a lot of big hotels behind to be looked after. Here's a whacking letter from the family solicitor. 1,600? What am I going to do with all those?
9,000 hotels.
Hotels? Oh, nonsense. Excuse me, I must give my fellow owners about starting.
Well, he has not much heart, that Swiss. No grief for his poor father.
Grief? A man that has been doing nothing but killing people for years. What does he care? What does any soldier care?
Well, Major Serenov has been fighting too. And he has plenty of heart left. Oh dear, I thought you wouldn't get much out of your soldier.
There you are, my girl. What fashion wearing your sleep is that, child?
It's my own fashion.
Indeed. If mistress catches you, she'll talk to you.
Oh, is that any reason why I should take it on yourself to talk to me?
Oh, come, don't be so contrary with me. I swear. A 20 lever bill. Sir just gave me that out of pure swagger. Fool when his money is soon parted. And, there's $10 more. That, Swiss fellow gave it to me for back of the mistresses and Miss Raina's lies about him. He's no fool, he isn't. But you should have heard old Catherine as polite as you pleased to me, telling that the mind of Major be a little impatient, making a poor library boat. She'll have to pen to spend. You only sit a while and, talk with me. I do tire on a certain occasion.
Lovers. And by me for 10, I'll keep your money. You were born a servant, and I was not. And when you go to your shop, you'll only be everybody's servant instead of somebody's servant.
Oh, wait till you see. We shall have our evenings to ourselves, and I shall be master in my own house.
Oh, you'll never be the master in mine.
A great ambition in you, Louka. Remember, any luck comes to you because I have made a woman of you.
You.
Yes! Who was it made you give up wearing a couple of pounds of false black hair on your head and written in your lips and cheeks like any other Bulgarian girl? I did. Who was supposed to trim your nails and keep your hands clean and be dainty? You hear that? Me. Often thought that if Raina out of the way, and you were just less of a fool, and Sir just a little more of one, you might come to one of my grandest customers instead of only being my wife and costing me money.
I think you'd rather be my servant than my husband. He makes so much more out of me that way. I know
My
that.
advice. If you want to be a lady, press behavior, so you won't do it all. It's too sharp and impudent. The impudence is a sort of familiarity. It shows affection for me. Don't try being so high-minded either. You're like all country girls. You think it's genteel to treat a servant with an eye treat a stable boy. That's only your ignorance, and don't you forget it. Expect that you have your own way, not to expect to be ordered about. The way it honors a servant is the same way it honors a lady. You've got to know your place. The secret of mine. You can depend on me to know my place here. Stand by another.
No, I shall act my own way. You tried to take all the courage out of me with your cold-blooded wisdom. Now, go on and put some logs in the fire. That's something you'll understand.
Oh, no, sir. Thank you. I was only speaking to this foolish girl about her habit of running things with the library. The worst of education, sir, gives her habits of other station. Go make that table tidy, Louka, for the Major.
Let me see. Is there a mark there? It's hurt?
Yes.
Shall I cure it?
No. You can't hear it now.
Quite sure.
Don't trifle with me, please. An officer is not to trifle with a servant.
That was no trifle, Louka.
Well, are you sorry?
I am never.
A man can be as unlike a woman as that. Be a brave man.
Yes, I'm a brave man. My heart jumped like a woman's at the sound of the first shot. But in the charge, I found that I was brave. Yes, that at least is real about me.
Well, did you find it in your charge that the men whose fathers are poor like mine were any less brave than those who are rich like yours?
Not a bit. They all slashed and cursed and yelled like heroes. The courage of raging killers cheap. I have an English bull terrier who has much of that sort of courage as a whole Bulgarian nation, with a whole Russian nation at his back. Yet he lets my groom thrash him all the same. That's your poor soldier all over. No, Louka, your poor men can cut throats. They are afraid of their officers. They put up with insults and blows. They allow themselves to be punished like children. Aye, and how to do it when they are ordered. And the officers? I am an officer. No, give me the man who would defy to the death any power on heaven and earth that sets itself up against his will and conscience. He alone is a brave man.
How easy it is to talk. You men are all alike with your schoolboy ideas. I don't think you know what true courage is.
Indeed. I am willing to be instructed.
Look at me. How much am I allowed to have of my own will? I have to pick up after you. I have to clean, sweep, fetch, and carry. Now, how does that degrade me? Does it degrade you at all to do for yourself? But if I were the infamous of Europe, then, although you think I show no courage at all, you should see.
And what would you do, most noble empress?
I would marry the man I loved. Something no other queen would ever dare to do. And if I loved you, although you would be as far beneath me as I am you, I would dare to be equal to my inferior. Now, would you dare to do the same if you loved me? No. You would marry the rich man's daughter, because you're afraid of what people think.
You lie. It is not so. Not by all the stars. If I were in love with you and I were the Tsar himself, I would set you on the throne by my side. You know I love another woman who is as high above you as heaven is above earth. And you are jealous of her.
I have no reason to be. Besides, the gentleman I told you about, he's come back. And she will marry the Swiss.
The Swiss?
Oh, yes, a man worth 10 of you.
I will kill the Swiss and do as I please with you.
Oh? But what if he kills you? He's beaten you in love and might as well beat you in war.
Do you think that she, whose worst thoughts are higher than your best ones, is capable of trifling with another man?
Do you think she would believe him if he said I was in your arms now?
Oh, damnation. Damnation. Mockery. Everything I think is mocked by everything I do. Coward, liar, fool. Shall I kill myself like a man who pretend to live and laugh at myself? Oh, Louka, remember, you belong to me.
That's sort of an insult.
What that means is that I've had you here in my arms, and will perhaps have you there again. Whether that's an insult, I neither know nor care. Take it as you please. But I will not be a coward and a trifler. If I love you, I dare marry you in spite of whole Bulgaria. If these hands ever touch you again, they shall touch my affianced bride.
Well, we shall see if you keep your word. But take care. I won't wait long.
Yes. We shall see, and you shall await my pleasure.
That's a remarkable looking young woman.
Captain Bluntschli. You have to see Brook, no, Rhymes. At 6 o'clock, I shall be in the drilling grounds on the Kisler Road, alone on horseback with my saber. Do you understand?
Well, thank you. That's a cavalryman's proposal. And if I go, I shall take a machine gun. And there shall be no mistake about the cartridges this time.
Take care, Captain Bluntschli. It is not our custom in Bulgaria to allow such invitations to be trifled with.
Don't talk to me about Bulgaria. You don't even know what fighting is. But have it your own way. Bring your saber along. I'll meet you.
Well said, sir. Shall I lend you my best horse?
No, damn your horse. Horseback's too dangerous. I don't want to kill you if I can help it.
I've heard what Captain Bluntschli said, Sergius. You're going to fight. Why? What about?
I don't know. He hasn't told me yet. Better not interfere, dear young lady. I've often acted as sword instructor. He shall not touch me, and I'll not hurt him. He will save explanations. And in the morning, I shall be off home. You'll never have to see of me or hear of me again.
I never said I wanted to see you again.
Ha! That is the confession.
What do you mean?
You love that man.
Sergius!
You allow him to make love to you behind my back, just as you treat me off your husband behind his. Bluntschli, you knew our relations. It is that I call you to account. Not for having received favors I never enjoyed.
Oh, stuff! Brothers, I received no favors from this woman. Why, the young lady doesn't even know whether I'm married or not.
Oh, are you?
You see the young lady's concern, Captain Bluntschli. Denial is useless. You have enjoyed the privilege of being received in a room late at night.
Yes, you blockhead! She received me with a pistol to her head. Well, I'd have blown her brains out if she hadn't cried. Your cavalry at my heels.
Raina, is this true?
Oh, how dare you! How dare you!
Oh, apologize, man, apologize.
I never apologize.
This is the doing of your friend, Captain Bluntschli. He is the one that has been spreading these horrible stories about me.
No, he's dead. Burnt alive.
How horrible.
Yes. Shot in the hip in the woodyard. And drag himself out. Your fellows set the timber on fire with their shells. Burnt him and half a dozen poor other fools in the same predicament.
Ridiculous! Oh, war! The dreams of patriots and heroes! A fraud, Captain Bluntschli. A hollow sham. Like love.
Like love? You say that before me.
Come, sir, enough the matters explain.
A hollow sham, I say. Would you be here if nothing had passed between you except at the muzzle of your pistol? Raina is mistaken about your friend with Beth. He was not my informant.
Who then? Louka? My maid? My servant? Well, what kind of god it is I have been believing in? Do you know that I went to get one last look out my window at my hero, and I saw something that I did not quite understand then. But I know now that you have been making love to her.
You saw that.
Only too well.
Raina, our romance is shattered. Life's a farce.
You see, he's found himself out now.
Bluntschli, I will allow you to call me a blockhead. You may now call me a coward as well. I refuse to fight you. Do you know why?
No, and it doesn't matter. I didn't ask the reason why you cried on. I don't ask the reason now that you cry off. I'm a professional soldier, and I fight when I have to. And I'm very glad to get out of it when I have to. You're only an amateur. You think fighting is an amusement.
You shall hear the reason all the same, my professional. The reason is that it takes two men, real men of heart, honor, and blood, to make a genuine combat. I could no more fight you than make love to an ugly woman. You've no magnetism. You're not a man. You're a machine.
Yeah, quite true. Quite true. I always was that sort of chap, and I'm very sorry. But now that you found out that life isn't a farce, and that it's something quite sensible and serious, what further obstacle is there to your happiness?
Oh, you are very solicitous about my happiness and his, but you do not forget his new love interest, Louka. It is not you he must fight now, but his new rival, Nicola.
Rival?
You didn't know the two were engaged.
Nicola? A fresh business opening? Nicola!
Oh, isn't it always stood on a middle-aged servant man? Oh, really unworthy of your chivalry.
Viper! Viper!
Look here, Sandal, you're getting the worst of this.
Do you realize what this man has done, Captain Bluntschli? He has set this girl as a spy upon us, and he rewards her by making love to her.
False! Monstrous!
Monstrous! Do you not deny that she told you about Captain Bluntschli being in my room?
No, but...
Do you not deny that you were making love to her when she told you?
No, but I tell
Oh,
you...
it is unnecessary to tell us anything more. That is quite enough for us.
I told you you're getting the worst of this, Sandal.
Did you hear this man calling you names, Captain Bluntschli?
Well, what else can he do, dear young lady? He must defend himself somehow. Come, don't quarrel. What good does it do?
Engaged to Nicola. Ha! You are right to take this huge impostor of a world. So cool, Captain Bluntschli.
He does say he thinks it's a couple of grown-up babies.
He does. He does. Swiss civilization is tending Bulgarian barbarism, eh?
Not at all, I assure you. I'm only very glad to get you two quiet. There. Let's be friendly and talk this over in a friendly way. Where is the other young lady?
Listening at the door, probably.
I will prove to you that that is a coward. Judge your Bluntschli, you the cool and impartial man, judge the eavesdropper.
Oh, I mustn't judge her. I once myself was outside a tent when a mutiny was brewing. It's all a question of degree of provocation. My life was at stake.
My love is at stake. I am not ashamed. Your love? Your curiosity, you mean?
No, my love. Something stronger than you've ever felt for your chocolate cream soldier.
What does that mean?
It means that.
Oh, I remember now. The ice cream pudding. Oh, a paltry taunt, girl.
Excuse my shirt sleeves, gentlemen. Raina, someone's been wearing that coat of mine, I'll swear it. Someone with a differently shaped back. It's all burst open at the sleeves. Your mother is mending it, but I wish she'd make haste. Otherwise I shall catch cold. Anything the matter?
No.
Oh, no. Nothing, nothing.
Louka, my dear, anything the matter?
No, no, sir.
All right.
I'll take that, Nicola. And to go put some more wood on the fire.
Aha. Going to be very good to poor old Papa for just one day after his return from the war, was eh?
Oh, how can you say that, Father?
Oh, it were only a joke. Come now, give me a kiss. Now, we can put it on.
Well, if you turn your back. There. Now is that comfortable?
Quite, little love, quite. By the by, I found something funny. What's the meaning of this? Hello? What? It was... Well, I could have sworn. Well, let's take it.
Taken what?
Your photograph with the inscription, Raina, to her chocolate cream soldier, a souvenir. Now you know there's something more to this than meets the eye, and this I shall find out. Nicola,
Sir,
did you spoil any pastry of Miss Raina's this morning?
you heard Miss Raina say that I did, sir.
I know that, you idiot! Was it true?
Well, I'm sure Miss Raina is incapable of saying anything that is not true, sir.
Are you? Well then, I'm not. Come, do you think I don't see it all? Sergius, you're the chocolate cream soldier, aren't you?
I, the chocolate cream soldier? Certainly not.
Not? Do you mean to tell me that Miss Raina sends things like this to other men?
The world is not such an innocent place as we used to think, Petkoff.
It's all right, Major. I am the chocolate cream soldier. The gracious lady simply saved my life by giving me 3 chocolate creams when I was starving. Shall I ever forget their flavor? My late friend Stolz told you about the story in Peru. I was the fugitive.
You? Do you remember how those women went on this morning when we mentioned it? Oh, and you? You're such a nice young woman, aren't you?
Major Serenoff has changed his mind, and when I wrote that on the photograph, I did not know that Captain Bluntschli was married.
I'm not married.
He said you were.
Well, I did not. I positively did not. Never was married in my life.
Raina, will you kindly inform me, if I am not asking too much, which of these men are you engaged to?
To neither of them. This young lady is the object of Major Serenoff's affection at present.
What? Louka? Why, no. This girl's engaged to Nicola.
I beg your pardon, sir. Louka's not engaged to me.
Not engaged, you scoundrel? Why, I had 25 letters given to you the day of your betrothal. And she had that gilt bracelet from Miss Raina.
We gave it out so, sir, but it was only for Louka protection. She has soul above the station, but I've been no more than a confidential servant. I intend, as you know, sir, to open up a shop later on in Sophia. And should Louka marry the nobility, I look forward to a good custom and recommendation.
I am.
This is out of the finest heroism, or the most crawling baseness. Which is it, Bluntschli?
Never mind whether it's heroism or baseness. Well, Nicola's the ablest man I've ever met in Bulgaria. I'll make him manager of a hotel if he speaks French and German.
Well, I have been insulted by everyone here. She set the example. You owe me an apology.
It's no use. He never apologizes.
Maybe not to you, his enemy. But to me, he won't refuse.
You are right. Forgive me.
Oh, well, you're forgiven. Oh, and that has made me your fiancé. Why?
All that.
You withdraw.
Withdraw? Never. You belong to me.
What does this mean?
Well, my dear, it appears that Sergius is going to marry Louka instead of Raina. But don't blame me, I have nothing to do with it.
Marry Louka? Sergius, you're bound by your word to us.
Nothing binds me.
Oh, Sergius, your hand, my congratulations. Your heroics have a practical side after all. Oh, gracious lady, the best wishes of a good republic.
Louka, you've been telling stories.
I have done Raina no harm.
Raina,
Yes, Raina. She calls me Louka, and I have all the right to call her Raina. Besides, I told Sergius if that gentleman ever came back, she was sure to marry him.
Hello.
Clear from anyways.
What nonsense, I assure you. My dear Major, my dear Madam, the gracious lady simply saved my life, nothing else. Plus, look at her and look at me. She, rich, beautiful, and young, with her imagination full of fairy princesses and noble natures and cavalry charges and goodness knows what. And me, a commonplace Swiss soldier, who doesn't know what a decent life is after 15 years of barracks and battles. A vagabond. A man who spoiled all his chances in life through incurably romantic disposition. A man
Excuse me, Bluntschli. What did you say had spoiled all your chances in life?
Well, an incurably romantic disposition. I ran away from home twice when I was a boy. I joined the army instead of going into my father's business. I climbed the water pipe to that balcony over there when any other man of sense would have dived into the nearest cellar. I came back here secretly to have another look at the young lady. A coat. Yeah, that's the coat I mean. Would have sent to look at me. Am I the type of... I'm 34, and I don't suppose the young lady's much over 17. All that adventure, which was life or death to me, was all schoolgirl's game to her. Chocolate creams and hide and seek. Well, here's the proof. Now, do you think any lady who actually took the affair seriously would have given me this written on it? Raina, with chocolate cream soda. Souvenir.
That's what I was looking for. How the deuce did it get there?
I have put everything right, I hope, gracious young lady.
I quite agree with your account of yourself. You are a romantic idiot. I hope that next time you can tell the difference between a schoolgirl of 17 and a young woman of 23.
23.
Bluntschli, my one last belief is gone. Your sagacity is a fraud, like everything else. You have even less sense than I.
23. 23. Well, in that case, Major,
Dare.
if you were 23 when you said those things to me this afternoon, I shall take them quite seriously.
I doubt, sir, whether you quite realize either the position of my daughter is that of Major Serenoff, whose place you propose to take. The Petkoffs and the Serenoffs are known as the richest and most important families in the country. Our position is almost historical. We can go back for 20 years.
Oh, never mind that, Captain. We should be most happy, sir, if it were only a question of position. But hang it, you know. Raina is accustomed to a barrel.
Who wants 20 horses? We're not going to keep a circus.
My daughter, sir, is accustomed to a first-rate stable.
Mother, you're making me sound ridiculous.
Well, if it comes to a question of establishment, here goes. Sergius, how many horses did you say you had?
20, noble Switzer.
I have 200. How many carriages have you?
3.
I have 7. Well, 24 of them will carry 12 inside, without counting the driver and the conductor, of course. How many tablecloths have you?
How the deuce do I know?
Have you 4,000?
No.
I have. I have 9,600 pairs of sheets and blankets, with 2,400 added on quilts. I have 10,000 knives and forks, with the same quantity of dessert spoons. I have 300 servants, 6 palatial establishments, 2 livery stables, a tea gardens, a private house. I have 4 medals of distinguished services, and the ranking of the officer and the standing of a gentleman. And I know 3 native languages. Show me
The Emperor of Switzerland?
my rank is the highest known in Switzerland. I am a free citizen.
Well, in that case, Captain Bluntschli, since you are my daughter's choice,
He's not.
I shall not stand in the way of her happiness. That is Major Petkoff's feeling also.
Oh, I shall be only too glad. 200 horses!
What says the lady?
The lady says that he can keep his tablecloths and his omnibus. I am not here to be sold to the highest bidder.
I won't take that as an answer. I appeal to you as a fugitive, a beggar, and a starver. You gave me your hand to kiss, your bed to sleep in, and your roof to shelter me.
But I did not give them to the Emperor of Switzerland.
That's exactly what I say.
Chocolate cream salted.
Thank you. That'll do. Oh, time's up, Major. You managed those troops so well that they're bound to get rid of some of the infantry in the Timok division. Send them away with Von Sergius, don't get married until I get back. I shall return here at 5 o'clock in the evening, Tuesday fortnight. Gracious ladies,